The federal government has approved the implementation of 35% and 23% of salary increment for staff of all federal tertiary institutions, which I'm sure by now they said that they have increased it to 25% for the junior staff. And also the federal government will pay arrears from 1st January 2023. The government announced that the increment was based on the outcome of the Presidential Committee on Salaries at its 13th meeting and having taken into consideration the different stages of collective bargaining in various sectors and specifically engagements between the Federal Ministry of Education and tertiary institutions-based union. Now, with this development, we will be taking a look at the increment as it affects the tertiary education in Nigeria. We have our Zoom from Yola, Dr. El-maude Jibril Gambo, the Chairman, Academic Staff Union of Universities, Modibbo Adama University of Technology, Yola. Now, Dr. Maude, we have heard of the, the reaction from the ASU saying that it wasn't exactly what they had bargained. What is your take on this particular situation?
Well, good morning, Nigerians. I want to speak from the individual perspective as El-maude Jibril Gambo, a staff of Modibbo University, Nigeria. Our national president has spoken on this, denying the fact that the federal government has not contacted us. And ordinarily, for us to have anything to say vis-a-vis this, it ought to have been through the principle of will invite us, we sit down together with them, we look at issues, we trash issues, look at indices and other matrices needed for us to arrive at a particular position. However, we are not being invited to any formal meeting for us to make our positions clear on that. That is one important issue that I want to make before we continue. However, increment in the salary of Nigerian workers at all levels is actually long overdue. It is not good for a government who will think of any policy that they want to implement without considering the implication of such policy you want to do. For instance, it might be good policy for government to remove the issue of fuel subsidy. But before you do that, those people who advise the government to remove the subsidy, what other measures have they put aside which will make the government reduce the burden and the suffering that people will go through pending things normalize this? I think one of the issue is the issue of the increment in salary. In one of the reports you made, students were complaining. From Yola to university, they spend 1,000 naira a day to go on for students. Likewise for the staff. A lot of people will not go to work because their money, their income can no longer take them home. In a good economy, particularly a three-sector economy like Nigeria, for instance, your salary, your income is supposed to be something that you can divide into three. Things that you can consume together with your family, things you can save for the rainy days, and make investment. Unfortunately, in Nigeria today, the salary or income of people who are working for government is not even enough to cater for their consumption. Nobody's talking about saving. Nobody's talking about investment. So I think it's a good idea if government can bring this and if government can be honest in the implementation of whatever they increase. Individual unions, labor unions can as well hold government on this, go back to the negotiating table, discuss issues with the government, and see whether such 23% or 35% as they claim to have increased will go a long way in reducing the suffering. The implication is that if you refuse to increment or increase the salary of these people, they may not be going to work because they may not have the money to go to work. And if they do not go to work, meaning there's going to be serious problem, the work is going to suffer, nobody is going to see anything, there's going to be reduction in the production of a lot of people. So it's better for government to look at what they should do, call these unions, talk to people, look at it, address the issues honestly, remove any sentiment or biasness. Government should not use this or should not play politics with the salaries or the people who are working for them.
Okay.
That's my
Uh,
view.
okay. All right. We know that this increase is a build-up on the negotiations between ASU and the federal government, which began even before the coming of the current administration. From the 23%, we understand that it's now 25%. So that's, you know, a step further. How has ASU engaged with the federal government since the suspension of its last strike in regards to, you know, this increase of salary?
You know, our union were forced to by the courts, and because we respect courts positions, that was why we resumed classes, despite the fact that a lot of our people are not happy with such decision. But notwithstanding the position of whoever, we respect government laws, we make laws, we respect the laws because we teach the lawyers. However, vis-a-vis the increment, we have not finalized, our union has not finalized with the federal government on what she would do. We are working for government. We are a union, and even the last 2000 agreement we signed with the government, which was the last time they increased our salary, it was through collective bargaining. Our expectation and thinking that a serious government will also go through such collective bargaining. However, the last government before this one, they were not serious. They were taking this for granted. They were for dragging. They were not serious. They did not do justice to us and they did not treat us fairly. And we hope and pray that this government will do so that at least people who are working in the universities will now have the love to continue teaching the universities. In between last strike and now, if I should tell you, a lot of people have left the university system. They are no longer interested in teaching because there's no future in teaching in the Nigerian universities.
So
The understanding is that the federal government is trying to hold by the jagun the universities. They want to, just the way they treated public primary schools and public secondary schools. Our thinking that this is something they were trying to extend to the universities, and that we're doing our best to make them understand that it is a bad omen to kill universities in Nigeria, because once you do that, then the future of Nigeria is going to be limbo. There's not going to be nobody. There's not going to be future for all our people, and there was no this political, I mean, feelings from the government that truly they want to resolve the issues in the universities. Nobody invited us. Nobody is inviting us. The last time we met with our president was saying that they have made a lot of consultation and nobody is inviting us for any formal meeting. And we were expecting that now that they seriously they want to increase, it's not about increment. How much are you going to increase? Can that go fair with the people who are working in the university so they can continue working effectively? The universities are suffering now because people do not go to office as expected because they don't have the resources to go to offices. Government should do that as quick as possible. They should call the national union, our national leaders, so that they can discuss this one once and for all. And if I try to do that one, they may not always necessarily do with our union. They should call everybody who is at stake in the Nigerian education sector, so that they can address this once and for all.
So having said all this now, how would you describe your engagement with the current administration of President Bola Tinubu with respect to all the agitations of ASU?
We are still hoping that they should do it formally. They should invite us. As one of the things that we have or we love in our university, in our is that whoever invites us for any meeting, we are going to go there and make formal our position. Well, also now we are expecting that the federal government is going to invite our national leaders so that they can go and do that one. So the national leaders can brief us, then we can brief our congresses. Once our congresses are okay with whatever government is giving, then there's not going to be a problem. However, whatever you give our members, we have to come back and explain to them, because our members are supreme. Our members, whatever they decide, is what we do. We at the branch levels, at the zonal levels, even national level, we're just like errand boys who are working for our team members of the Congress. Whatever they decide is final. However, the discussion between us and the government is not that cold. It's not that as expected. It's not going smoothly. It's not even going formally. There was no formal invitation from the federal government for us to come and discuss with them.
Okay. You know, in fairness, really, if you look at all the agitations at the moment as regards increment of salaries for virtually all the sectors, not only for the academia, this is one that has gotten that approval from the presidency so far. So, I mean, regardless of whether or not this is what you desired or this is what the members of the academy expected to happen, do you see the academia accepting this if the federal government decides to go ahead and implement?
What we expect the government should do, it's not about whether it's fair or it's not fair, whether they are going to give other sectors. All sectors are important. All of them are important. However, what government should do, if they are honest, is that there are procedures and protocols that we normally follow anytime we want to increase salaries of our workers in Nigeria. Such protocols should be observed. Invite these people, discuss with them, tell them your reasons why you are not going to increase to their expectation. Probably they are expecting you to give them 50%, you cannot give them 50%. What are the reasons why you are not going to give them? Or probably what they are expecting you to give is only 10%, you are giving them, why are you giving it to 12%? So that they can go and convince people, these are the reason why we are giving you this percent. This is the only thing we are saying that. We are not saying that the government, whatever they do, they should, whatever they want to do, they should make sure it's through collective principle of collective bargaining. Discuss with these people, show them reasons why you cannot go beyond this level. They are human beings, they can understand, but just about this standard, because you are the leader of the country or you are the people who are ruling the country, decide to give people what they want to give. That may not overwhelm with the people who are working for you. Remember, the leader is working for people, that those people who are working for, if they are not happy with what you are giving them, there's going to be problem because they may not work as expected. And if they are not working, the productivity is going to go down. Once production is going down, then the social system is also going to be generally affected. That is our concern here. Whatever they want is great, it's good and fine, but they should follow the steps that is normally being followed anytime increment is going to be made.
Dr. El-maude, we have seen, based on the fuel subsidy removal, how the price of fuel has doubled. No, I'm talking about 400% increase. And this has affected, the cost of living. And we all know that when we talk about the 30%, the 30,000 minimum wage, already it's not really much considering the state of the economy right now. So we have seen that the government are saying that for the chief senior lecturers, they're getting 35% increment. And for the juniors, they're saying that it's about 25%, which was actually moved, from the 23. Do you think there is fairness, in that situation? Because already the chief senior lecturers are already getting at least a fair share. So how come the percentage is a bit much, for the senior lecturers? Why the juniors are taking 25%, which if you join it with this, the 30,000 minimum wage rates, it's not really much to take home with. What is your take on this?
The analysis I gave before is a good salary is that salary that can be divided into three. One, you eat together with your family, address immediate issues with your family. Two, part of the salary you can save. Three, part of the salary you can invest. But as we talk to in Nigeria, not even the junior staff, not even the lecturers who are not senior lecturers, the junior lecturers per se, even the professors, their take home is not enough for them to consume throughout the month. A lot think about making some investment or think of making some savings. However, we see no reason why there should be dichotomy, why there should be difference between the percentage you are increasing, you want to increase for senior lecturers, and we're all lecturers. We're working under one umbrella. So we're thinking that if you're going to increase any percentage, why not make it across the board? If you are going to increase 1%, increase all of us. We don't want the government to bring any dichotomy. We don't really want to bring any section between there's a junior staff. As far as we're concerned, it's another way, a bad way of trying to divide us. We don't want that division. That's why we say we want it to be done through collective bargaining. Even if you're not going to give us any kobo, tell us you're not going to give us any kobo. Invite all of us so that we go sit and say, okay, we're not going to give you. But if you want to give us, invite us. Tell us the reason why you want to give us 35%. And some people 23 or 25%. Let it be fair. So everybody will be working. Everybody's working in the university. Everybody's working. Senior lecturers working. the assistant lecturer want to, everyone is working. So if government want to be honest, if government want to be fair, government should invite our national leaders. Our national leaders will discuss with them. Our national leaders will come back to us. They will inform us what they have decided with the government. We now can take it back to our congresses. We inform the congresses. We discuss this. We brainstorm. From there, we reach conclusion. Then we now inform intimate government. We are accepting that, or we are not accepting that. That is how in our union. But for you to say you are going to give this people this, I know it's never done that way. It's not a good way of solving issues.
Okay, aside this issue of increment, are there other areas that you would have loved the federal government to have paid attention to and to, you know, impact on the welfare of lecturers, whether, or let me say staff of tertiary institutions, whether academic or non-academic? Because it appears that each time there's a strike, ASU strike is usually being followed up with strike by other staff of the tertiary institutions, non-academic sometimes.
Yeah, very, very correct. You see, the issue is that once government is honest and fair, there will not be any crisis. The problem we have with government most of the time is that government hardly can tell us the truth. You remember we signed so many agreements, so many memorandum of action, so many understand with government, only for government after a day or two to forget about that until and unless we say we are going to go for another slide before government says, okay, now this and that. We are talking about agreement we signed with government in 2009. 2009 to 2023 is a huge number of years. If government is serious, government will have addressed all these issues. You see, apart from the increment in salary, there are other things that we expect the government to do, like the issue of our unacademic allowances that we have worked. We have worked. There was an agreement with some government that this is the one they are going to be paying us as an unacademic allowances for what we have worked. Up to now, government have not done that one. And that if you are anytime you are giving unacademic allowances, you are not only giving to academic staff. Non-academic staff also have their fair share, and which will always be given by the federal government. But the problem is, why will you allow people to go on strike before you pay them the unacademic allowances? Unacademic allowances is a component of their salaries. Holding that component of their salaries is like you are cheating them. You are shortchanging them. You are not giving them their due salaries as at when due. So this is unfair. There are other things that if government do, the issue of revitalization of these our universities, buying chemicals, making the laboratories to be functioning, ensure that steady light, 247 light in universities. There are universities that cannot have that light. There are references like cases in Abuse area and University of Modibbo. They spend months without electricity simply because the bill is too much, and simply the government cannot pay the bill, they cannot put the bill of these universities. So these are the issues. Apart from increment in salaries, there are things that are important. Staff welfare, there are promotions, promotion arrears. There are people who have been promoted 2-3 years ago. Up to now, they have not been paid their arrears. People will be promoted, and they are still very government will still paying them their old rank. These are the issues. Apart from the increment, there are so many issues that the government is not trying to address, and the government is not informing the public on the actual things. I know, for instance, somebody who was promoted 2 years ago, up to now, is collecting an old salary. I know people up to now that were promoted in 2019, 2020, in University of Medical and other places. Up to now, they have not been given their promotion arrears. These are the things that is killing the Nigerian universities. And if government is not serious about it, we are going to wake up one day and a lot of people, a lot of our senior colleagues are no longer there. The people who are joining now are not even joining because they have that passion. They are joining just because they want to join. And the people who are there already in the system, who are trying to make all the still sacrifices for the system, the government is not paying them as the way they're supposed to be paid. So it's unfortunate for our members in this noise. Government needs to be serious about it if they want us to still remain and be contributing our quota towards economic development in Nigeria. What government maybe fails to understand is they should go and get the statistics of Nigerians, students in Nigeria who are paying school fees in Ghana, in Malaysia. So it's simply because the universities in Malaysia have the way we they needed. They have the amount of people who are working for them. And one thing I want to select everyone in this country is there's no one single university you go in this world, you don't see one Nigerian that is excelling. There are other universities you go around this world that will see Nigerians are their vice chancellors. We have hardworking people who have all that it takes to take Nigeria to the promised educationally. However, because of the reluctancy, because of nonchalant attitude of the Nigerian government, and that's why these guys cannot come back to Nigeria and work. There was a time, trust me, that we have foreigners who are teaching in Nigerian universities. We have foreigners who are students. Hardly can you see a foreigner teaching in Nigeria now. Hardly can you see a foreign student in Nigeria now. What's the problem? Because we are not serious about education in Nigeria. That's why you go. If not, what will take in Nigeria to go to Cotonou and have a degree in less than 6 months and come back? How would that possible?
All right.
It's not good. It's a bad omen. We need to come back to the drawing board and address the issues once for all. We have no any other country in this country. We have the resources. We have the men. The students are hardworking students. But the government is not serious about it. Let us be serious once for goodness sake, so that we can make our Nigerian universities to be at par with all other universities globally.
All right. So we hope that the new administration will do better, would walk the talk as regards education as it has promised. And we look forward to engaging with you more on the program. Thank you so much so far on your analysis and perspectives on the recent increase of salaries for university lecturers and other tertiary institutions.
It's my pleasure all the time. Thank you.